Winston Churchill said on December 12th, 1941, "We are all in it together." He was talking about the food rations after the United States had joined the World War II. Because he said that quote on December 12th. Guess who joined the war 4 days earlier? The United States. The United States was able to give UK and other allied powers food rations, extra food rations, that really helped the soldiers on the front lines, because how are you going to win a war if your soldiers aren't fed? He went on to go and say that they're eating better than I am. How can a soldier eat better than one of the prime ministers? That is something unfathomable. Even during war times, I would still think the prime minister is sitting back at home eating steaks every day while they're feeding the soldiers on the front lines just crackers. Just shitty MREs. Now that correlates with our quote today. United we stand, divided we fall, by Patrick Henry in 1799 is when he said that. Now I interpret that quote as successors as one, many losers. Simple. You'll see why. I disagree with that quote. Now, I'll be proving through my main points of many winners and many losers. On D-Day, you and your buddy right next to you, you've gotten to know this guy through training camp. You get off the boat. You get into the water. You're trudging through the water. You are now on the sand. Bullets whizzing right by your head. People to your left, to your right, in front of you, behind you, getting shot, dying. Many winners. There are many winners, such as the case in World War II, United States and Poland, or in elections, United States history. When it comes to World War II, United States and Poland, let's think of those two. There are two winners here in this example itself, but there are many winners that I could go further in depth with, but I'll keep it to these simple two. In Poland, there are many people that were captured, taken as prisoners in World War II. Concentration camps is what we call them today. Those was where many Jews were taken in Poland. There were so many Jews around Europe, so many in Poland. They got rounded up and were all sadly and brutally killed. After the war, the United States, France, UK, and other countries come together, get these people that are surviving in these concentration camps at the time, and give them food, give them water, give them shelter. They're giving things that they really haven't seen in a couple of years. Something that we take today for granted. And they are getting it, and they are loving it. Some even died because they are indulging themselves that much. Now, to keep on going, the people that were in the concentration camps are the winners in the situation. That is, the people in Poland are winners. Now, you go to the United States, they are winners because they have won the war through the help of the Industrial Revolution that they had, the mini Industrial Revolution. I'll talk about that. Let's talk about that. This Industrial Revolution, the United States gained many things. Women gained the right to vote, women working more in the workforce, and they were able to boost their economy, even though right before the war they were in a Great Depression. They get boosted through the war. So our winners are Poland, with the people in the concentration camps, and the United States with their Industrial Revolution, with what happened with women, and leaving the Great Depression. Now, going on to our elections. Now, if we're looking at it through a Democratic side, let's say Kamala Harris had won this election, the February election. It's a what-if scenario. You would have seen many people on the LGBTQ side say that they are very glad that she had won because of Donald Trump's views against LGBTQ people. Now, you could also see this as a win for the people that are against building a wall or upping the border policies. As we were seeing today, there are people that are protesting ICE and what is going on with ICE and taking people from Mexico, illegals, and just taking them back to Mexico. against their will. Now, they are both winners in this scenario with Kamala winning because the LGBTQ get what they want with the support of the president. And so are the people that want a light border policy so that what's going on now, today, people aren't just being taken from where they are and taken to somewhere else they don't want to be. You've gone behind a little bit of fortification. You turn around and start shooting at the tower. You look over, more dead bodies. Many losers. Yankees, leaves. The Yankees are an organization in the MLB. You may have known them because you may know sports, or you've seen their logo on someone's hat or some apparel. And this is a big brand, the Yankees. The Yankees are losers in the World Series. Now, they are losers as many. The fans, the organization, and the players. The players are looked down upon as terrible. Aaron Judge in particular was seen as a failure because he had not been able to perform in the World Series. Then you go on to the fans. They are seen as losers because they get made fun of for the next year, the entirety of the next year. Oh, but didn't you lose the World Series? Oh, you failed? Your team failed? Haha, you are a joke now. Now, the organization is seen as a failure because they were not able to win the World Series. Even if they come back next year, they see that last year as a failure. No matter what happens, they may shrug it off because they may win the next year, but they still ultimately see that year as a failure. So the fans see it as a failure, the organization sees it as a failure, and the players themselves are seen as the failure. Leaves. During the autumn and the winter, early to the late autumn, tree leaves change color and they fall. Now this may be a little on the nose, but they are fallers because in the quote it said, "Divided we fall." And when I mentioned that the leaves fall from the beginning of autumn to late autumn, notice how I didn't say they all fell at once. It may be in the same season, but the autumn is a couple of months. So they fall at different times through a couple of months. They fall as many. They don't all fall as once. Now, to go back through it, the leaves fall as many through the time. The organization of the Yankees, the fans, and the players are all seen as losers. You have just succeeded in taking Normandy. You look all over the place and all you see is red. Why? Your friends, maybe even someone you might consider family, is laying there dead because they are shot. And there are hundreds, thousands of people even, just laying there, lifeless, all because someone wanted to discriminate against others. You are all losers in this scenario. You may have also been a winner because you got to take the land you thought was precious and needed to win the war, but you also are losers because you are dying physically and mentally from the wounds you sustained to the mental attacks that you have seen. United we stand, divided we fall. Patrick Henry said that in 1799. And I told you through my interpretation of successors as one, many losers, that this quote is wrong. Because even though we may lose as many, we do ultimately succeed as many as well. That's why we all should disagree with this quote. And why? We are all in it together. United we stand, divided we fall. Is not necessarily true. Even though these people, influential people, said this quote hundreds of years apart, it's not very true.